So moving into experience 7, which is equanimity. This is a bit of a meditative experience in the experience part. And I really want to invite you right now to lie on the ground or the floor or the bed if that's more comfortable for you. Or if you have a tendency to fall asleep and want to stand up for it, feel free to stand and do a standing meditation, or sit in your chair, make yourself comfortable. It's nice to have a straight back when we're doing that, but we are going to talk for a little while first. So what is this thing called equanimity that, like, the Buddhists, you know, make a very big deal about it? It's a subject that I have to say just draws me back in, and I can't say that I personally have more than a taste of equanimity. And yet I feel like that taste is so enriching and so deepening and so worth exploring and inviting more of that flavor into life, into relationship, into listening, into meditating, you know, into relationship with self. So in Buddhism, equanimity is one of the 4 sublime attitudes and is considered not an emotion. Instead, it's kind of a steady, conscious realization of reality's transience, that the way things shift and move and change. And it's considered to be like the ground for wisdom and freedom and the protector of compassion and love. Well, anyways, that's what I found out online that was said about equanimity. There's much more. And if anyone's interested, I have kind of put together different articles and teachings about equanimity because I do find it to be a fascinating topic. So right now we're going to explore entering into our own state of equanimity, and from there doing some exercises and discoveries. So let's just start by brainstorming together words we associate with this equanimity. So before you start throwing out words, let me give you a little flavor through a visualization. Imagining that there's a storm with lightning and thunder and wind and turbulence, yet there's the eye of the storm where there's great stillness. So that's one experience of the storm to relate to invoke a sense, an atmosphere of equanimity. Another is to think of a very elderly human being, a grandmother, a grandfather. Maybe the grandchildren are their own biologically, maybe it's everyone's children feel like their grandchildren. And they watch the dramas, the ups and downs of being a child, of being a parent, of working, of our life. And from this very advanced age, from this place of deep wisdom and compassion, they know that it will all come and go, that these dramas, these emotions, these desires, these thoughts, they'll come and go. And they have this wisdom of being so advanced and so elderly and so really ancient in their wisdom. So those two were kind of ways I sort of start to invoke in myself the flavor of equanimity. And from there, I'd like to see what words come to you from that touching in, from what you know and experience of equanimity. Calm in the storm, wisdom, peace, boring. Infinity, sign at the middle, beautiful, an infinity sign at the middle. So maybe, is it that space right where the infinity sign turns? Centeredness, faith, disconnection, grounded, wisdom, calmness. Nothing is about us. Yeah, this too shall pass. Equilibrium, balanced, grounded, presence, enlightenment, silence, yin and yang. You've lost me. I have no idea what it is. Beautiful honesty. And, you know, to be truthful, that's really wonderful too, to be in that state of unknowingness about an idea like equanimity. But hopefully these exercises will continue to just give you a flavor of this. But these words were just so beautiful. Think of, have you ever struggled with something, wanted something to go your way or a way, really believed that, and then something happened to shift your perspective so you could see more than your point of view. And so you felt many points of view. And there you were witnessing all these different points of view and understanding how other people could be attached to one point of view, one way to be, one way to go, one direction. And yet you could see them all. That centered, balanced, peaceful place of seeing all the points of view might be a nice pointer to equanimity. Yeah. So, and even though I mentioned Buddhism, I want to say here that I believe every great religious tradition has equanimity within it. That I'm sure if you're Christian or you're Jewish or you're Muslim or you're Jade or Jain, not Jade, Jain religion, whatever tradition, whatever belief system, you can find that wisdom, that balance of equanimity within it in some area. I think it's really a universal, and that's why I bring it here on our retreat. So let's close our eyes for a moment, whether you're standing or sitting or lying down, and begin to feel just that sense of calmness, as though you were witnessing the waves of an ocean coming and going. Maybe you can sense the rhythms of energy in your body as you gently expand and gently contract, the way your breath expands and contracts. Just feel into that very gentle movement of moving out and moving in. Just thinking about how the sun rises and slowly the world has light, and the day goes by and the sun sets and slowly the world becomes dark. And often we forget to notice the coming and going of light because we're occupied and busy and we have electricity. And yet it's quite amazing, the sun rising and the sun setting. No matter what has happened in the day, the sun rises, the sun sets, our body breathes. We feel relaxed, we feel excited, we feel sad, we feel happy. There's always a coming and going in our experience, that beautiful transience, that beautiful rhythm of change, and coming back and going out and coming back. So what is this attitude of non-attachment, of witnessing, of calmness in you? Imagine a time in your life, maybe when you're sitting somewhere looking out at a view, maybe when you're doing a certain activity. When do you feel this? Just recognize it, feel it, imagine it. However you sense it is perfect. Does a certain emotion accompany that quality of equanimity for you? Is there an emotion that resonates more with you? Say that emotion to yourself. Say it internally. Feel that emotion or that state right now in your body, in the space around you, connecting you to this group. Is there anyone you've known who seems to embody this kind of equanimity? Maybe a friend, maybe an elder, maybe someone you've only seen through some form of media or books. Recognize them right now in yourself and invite them to help you. Invite their equanimity to help your equanimity. And let's just invite all of our equanimity, whatever sense we have of it, whatever level we have of it, whether it's very, very small whisper or a very, very grand, wide open experience for us. Let's invite all those forms of equanimity to share space together and share in this circle and share in this exercise. And we're going to do a practice that invokes a sense of equanimity. So we start by imagining a friend, and imagine that friend right in front of you, someone you love, someone who's dear to you, that person you love, that friend, right in front of your forehead. And feel free to use your hands to help guide you. And then to your right, imagine a stranger, someone maybe you met in a store or who served you a coffee. The stranger is on your right. The friend is in front of you. And on your left, think of someone who triggers you, who's irritating. So that trigger person on the left, the friend in front of you, the stranger on the right. Now pass over your head the stranger and let's call them an enemy, even though they might not really be an enemy, the trigger person on your right, the stranger on your left, the friend in front of you. Now let's take the friend in front and move them to your right, friend on the right, trigger person in front of you, the person you resist in front of you, stranger on your left, stranger on your left, trigger person in front, friend on the right. Now let's move the stranger on the left to the front and move the trigger person to the left. Trigger person on the left, stranger in front, friend on the right. Now let's change friend and trigger person, just tossing them over your head. In the right now you have the trigger person, in the left the friend, and in front of you the stranger. Now just consider all three positions: stranger, friend, trigger person, stranger, friend, trigger person, and move them around as you'd like. Change their position. Friend, stranger, trigger person, I resist. Friend, I love. Stranger, I don't know. Trigger person, I resist. And let them almost dance around you, changing their position. As though you could just trace their energy with your fingers and have it move. Trigger person, friend, stranger, friend, stranger, trigger person, stranger, friend. And let your hands move them. Okay, and just coming to rest in the middle of all that, in the middle of the stranger, the trigger person, and the friend. Noticing all those positions, all that movement. And here you are right in the center. And next, we're going to do another process that is I think, very deep work. It's this process really, really resonated with me the first time I did it. Really made me realize quite a bit about what I wanted. So choosing a situation, an argument, some kind of dispute from your life in the last 3 to 6 months, or from now back 6 months. Something you can remember sort of that got under your skin, not a really big deal. So we're looking for a minor kind of trigger situation where you got annoyed or irritated, or you argued. Maybe it's something that happens every week with a friend or a partner or a child. Just imagine that mild trigger. And this is important. We don't want to make it too big of a trigger. We want to work with a mild trigger today. But imagine that dispute and how it went. Remembering your position, your words, your feelings, and the other person's position and words and feelings. Just give yourself time to be with that in this beautiful state of equanimity that you've brought into your reality. So from this, or bring it in more deeply, this state of calm and equanimity, maybe imagine a landscape that gives you quite a bit of peace and calm and noticing of different positions. And in that landscape, in that place of peace, that place of equanimity, remember that trigger, remember that dispute. See your point of view, see the other person's point of view. Remember the words, remember the feelings. And just allow that to be there with you in this peaceful place that you call in as a helper to equanimity. And now think of yourself in a year remembering this dispute. Something makes you remember it, a dream, a comment, and you remember this dispute that triggered you a year before. How do you feel about it now, a year in the future? Let your inner voice speak to you. How do you feel about the dispute a year later? Be in that space in the future, remembering it. Listen to your inner voice, what it says. And now let's go forward in time. Forward in time about 5 years. In 5 years' time, something reminds you of that dispute, that mild trigger, and you remember it. How is it to remember it in 5 years? How important is it 5 years in the future? What do you notice now that you're 5 years more advanced, more evolved? How is it from 5 years in the future? Now imagine that you time travel 10 years into the future. See yourself in 10 years. See your life, notice where you're at, how much growth you've had in 10 years, how much life experience. And in 10 years into the future, something makes you remember that mild trigger. Same one, you're using the same mild trigger each time. Remember that now, 10 years into the future. And what does your inner voice say 10 years into the future about that mild trigger? Let it speak to you. And now let's jump in time 20 years into the future. 20 years in the future, recall the mild trigger and notice what your deep, mature inner voice says about that mild trigger, argument, dispute, whatever it was 20 years before. How do you feel about it? What do you say to yourself about it? What do you want to be with about it now, 20 years in the future? And now let's time travel again all the way into the future to your very last day of life. You're experiencing your last day of life and you recall this mild trigger. How do you feel about it now on the very last day of your life? You're letting go of this life. You're about to die. How do you feel about that mild trigger, that dispute or argument now. Be with that inner voice. And coming back, jumping back in time, back from 20 years, 10 years, 5 years into this moment right now. Notice how you feel about that dispute or trigger or argument that happened in the last 6 months, that same one. What's your sense of it now? And whatever it is, bring your equanimity to it. Bring that place in nature, that calm, that peace, that all-knowing, kind, loving, benevolent presence in yourself. Bring that to the experience and be with all of you, the current you, the future yous, the past yous. Be with all of that from this place of great kindness, great love, great wisdom, great peace. And we'll take a deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth. We'll do it 3 times to come back to center. Last deep breath. So returning to your natural breathing and opening your eyes when you're ready and noticing what you notice. All right. So I'm very interested to know how that was for you. Please write into the chat about anything you realized, how you felt in the different stages in the future, how the stranger, enemy, friend exercise was for you. And Jeremy, if you don't mind turning on the side light, went out, would be great. The things I notice when my eyes open when a light is out. Okay, I loved how when I went to the future, a little chuckle was waiting for me. It was absurd from the future. A quite different law of relativity here. I laughed too. I actually fell asleep for a bit. So did I do it? I don't know. I think sleep is sometimes a way we process at a deep level with these experiences. Let's see, anger went away. Beautiful. What a beautiful gift to give yourself, to have anger fall away. Yeah. All right, and beautiful to bring that laughter in, that chuckle in the future. So, really important with this exercise to, if you repeat it for yourself, to make it a mild trigger. That teaches us, that invokes the equanimity and the knowing and the future perspective without any re-traumatizing. So that's why it's important to choose a mild trigger. That knowingness that grows in you, that equanimity, will expand out to bigger issues. But as an exercise, it's good to choose a milder dispute or argument or irritation. Great. Going to the future was interesting. I did not care at all. What a waste to be attached to this. Yeah, it puts it into perspective was the next share. Absolutely. Very insightful how insignificant the little day-to-day irritations are in the future. Yeah, it's really good to have. For me, this experience was really got me. And I actually learned this exercise in a one-day retreat I attended in person on equanimity. So the entire day was focused on invoking equanimity. So you see what I mean? I have an interest in equanimity. I spent 8 hours on the subject. And of all the things we did, this exercise really resonated for me the most. The friend, stranger, enemy is a practice I've used now for probably 20 years, and I use it as a coach, and it helps quite a bit in changing one's relationship, especially to those we view as enemies or irritants or triggers in our life. And it also really helps one to have focus and concentration as well. So it's an interesting kind of paradox. You get expanded and you learn to focus. Yeah, and whoever the dear friend is, it doesn't matter. All you need is one. And if in the moment you don't have one, think of someone from the past or in the future. Okay. Yeah, and they are all melding together in the end. That I think you mean the stranger, enemy, friend practice. And I've used that one in a very practical application when someone has a struggle with their employer or with a colleague. Just to do that practice using that person as the trigger person every day for 30 days, and their communications to their person, their actions towards them evolve without any effort. That's what I experienced with my clients. So yes, and you'll all have access to all of this in the future. So now we're going to move into the integration for 7. And by the way, even though this is the 7th integration, when we're done, we're going to come back as a group to process and close retreat. And that's really important. So even if you can only come back for 5 minutes, please come back for that. So in the integration zone of equanimity, we're going to be partnered with just one other person. And we're going to take turns speaking for a full 5 minutes, one of us, 5 minutes straight, about a mild irritation or trigger. You can choose a new one this time. And for 5 minutes, you're going to speak about it while invoking equanimity in yourself. And your partner is going to be very focused on creating equanimity in themselves while they listen. No coaching each other, no questioning. 5 minutes straight of talking from equanimity about a mild trigger that happened around 3 to 6 months ago. We don't want it to be too fresh. So somewhere between 3 months back to maybe a year back. Some people have very few mild triggers to call upon, but it can be like irritation daily about the music your teenager listens to, or irritation about the traffic. It can really be about anything, but you're going to talk about it for 5 minutes, invoking equanimity in yourself, and the listener will be invoking equanimity in themselves as they listen. Now, when the first person is done, you will switch positions, thank each other, thank the speaker, thank the listener, but do not discuss or question. Change positions. The person who shared for 5 minutes will now listen, and the person who listened will now share for 5 minutes. And then after that, discuss together how that felt, how you experienced it. Don't try to coach or change anything about what the person shared with you. Do not learn more about it. Just discuss how it felt for you to do it. Okay? So that will be about a 15-minute practice. And it teaches us a lot to stay in equanimity without trying to change anything about what we're hearing or what we're telling, actually. Not trying to change it, just trying to be with it, to observe it, to let our peacefulness, our compassion, our love be there with it for 5 minutes straight. Okay. And So choose a mild irritation from like 3 months ago to a year back. If you cannot stay for the next 15 minutes, then you should sign off and sign back on, please, at the hour at 5 p.m. But now we'll be practicing for about 15 or 20 minutes. You need to get settled, share, change positions, and then you'll want to process a little more together. There's also journal questions. If for some reason you need a little more information there's some journal questions. Okay, so Jeremy, you're going to put them in groups of just two.
Just two.
Just two. Do we have to redo that?
Yeah, it doesn't take too long.
Okay, so just two people this time. And the reason for just two is it's a different form of connection. When it's just you and one person doing this, you really, really are there for each other. Just two of you now for the integration. And then remember, we're going to come back to close retreat together. I'm going to take questions, and that will be a really sweet time to actually continue to nurture ourselves and each other and create deeper integration. All right, so you'll be invited into a room now.
So close.
Almost there, guys. Invoking equanimity as you listen and as you speak. And see also if you can find equanimity in the body as you speak and as you listen. One little note, actually important. Equanimity usually comes much more slowly than other speech. So let yourself slow down as you talk.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Isabel.
Maggie.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Maggie. Okay, Maggie, do you want to go first?
I would love to, Tracy. That sounds good.
Awesome.
All right.
And I will let you know when the 5 minutes is up, okay?
Perfect. Thank you, Isabel.
You're welcome. Go.
All right. My mild trigger from the past 3 months is I have realized that my fiance is called upon by both his younger sister and his mother to referee disputes that they're having. And then he often processes those disputes with me. And it makes it very challenging for me to try to have my own relationships with them, my own opinions of them, because everything is colored by what I'm hearing through his filter that I didn't ask to be a part of, that they didn't ask for me to be a part of. That being said, it's very difficult for me to listen to his take on these disputes without forming an opinion or taking sides. It reminds me a lot of disputes that I've had with my own mother. And so I find myself really feeling for his sister and how difficult I have found that. And so I put myself in her shoes, really, and lose any impartiality. And I think in that way, whatever usefulness he was hoping that my role would be in kind of in hearing what's been happening and getting the play-by-play of disputes that I'm not involved in. And I just think it would be better for me to step away from that for everybody, because there's the time that he spends on the phone with them, and then there's the time spent processing with me, and then there's the time that I'm processing my own irritation and judgment. And it just feels like in those moments it's taking up so much attention and energy that's not helping to make things better or being productive. And it makes me feel less connected to everyone who's involved. And it doesn't happen very often, but it does weigh on me when it does. And I do find myself irritated with everyone, including myself. I almost lose a little compassion for myself and my own experience because I feel this pull to be a mediator or a judge somehow, even though I'm not there. I'm not a part of it.
Time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shall I start?
Yes.
Okay. The only thing that's, I'm sure there's more, but what wants to come out is I try to be really careful with some new clients that were referred to me for something, because I was starting a business without any model, just something that I had learned how to do and thought that I would help other homeowners to be able to furnish their rooms and really create like a retreat for people to go to that are travelers. And so I felt like it didn't work out with the first one. I felt I wasn't clear enough. I didn't put it in writing of what expectations were for a fee. So in the next couple, I tried to be extremely careful and clear. And because I was new, I really kind of underpriced what I was doing, but I felt good about it because I felt like I was really doing something amazing. And I got this room looking beautiful, and it was amazing that I got the thing rented out right away. And they were making twice the money that they were when they tried to rent out the room by themselves. So basically, they weren't paying me anything. I was using my skill, my talent. All they did was turn their room over to me, and then I gave them double what they were making, and I took the rest. And how do I remain? Okay. I fell asleep during this practice, so I'm not sure how the switching, what I'm trying to do in my head. I think that no, then they still didn't understand what was in the contract, and I felt that even if they don't understand that, for the first month, there's an additional fee because I just spent all this time completely renovating their room, then on top of whatever I get to rent the room out, this first month would be an addition. So they thought that when I said, 50% of that month went 50% plus nothing to rent it up. Like it was either this or that, but obviously it should be both. And I have it in the contract and it's written. And even if they didn't understand it, my goodness, they're getting double what they could make on their own. And what I just pulled off a miracle. It was amazing what I did. It was beautiful. And I'm like, wow, they're still trying to get something out of me. They're feeling like I'm cheating them somehow when I just handed them wealth on a platter that they didn't deserve. Like that's how I felt. And I felt frustrated because even though I thought I was making extra effort to make it clear and in writing because of what happened previously, that and then to still have it come up. So I think for a moment that was my life because I took it personally and maybe I was looking for the acceptance and the appreciation from them, but ultimately I needed to give it to myself and just make that a lesson learned that that's not the type of relationship I want to have with a client. And then I'm just not going to do it anymore. I'm just going to forget that business model that I was trying to create because it didn't work. So I guess I took a lesson from it, but it didn't feel good going through it because I learned that I want to be the nice guy. But if I'm the nice guy to the extent that like you can't make somebody see the value that you're adding. Like they're always going to see something through their filter. So I didn't know how to deal with that. Um, like how do I be the nice guy and capitulate and give them what they want without betraying myself? So I chose me. Um, they already got everything, and I walked away with getting paid less than what they were supposed to pay me. But I felt like I did the right thing. But it was just hard knowing that when I left, like they still couldn't understand my point of view. But it's not, I guess, it's not possible for me to make somebody understand something. So I guess I had to live in things.
Thank you. Whew. So we have some time now to express how you have some time now to express how you felt speaking and listening with equanimity, how it was for each of you.
It is a newer process to me, this practice of equanimity. And I see a lot of value in it, a lot of value. Mostly because I feel like it lets me take a step back so I can gain a little bit of a wider perspective on whatever, in this case, the trigger with these conversations, and just having that wider perspective let me see why I think it's really irritating me, and also gives me a little bit more power of what do I want to do in the future? Because so far it has happened a few times, but the more I can let it be a learning and growth experience, the more I think I would feel empowered to approach it in different ways until I find one that feels supportive instead of irritating for me.
Mm-hmm.
And just slowing down and choosing my words is nice too, because I tend to be a motor mouth. So thank you. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
how does it feel to listen in equanimity? To speak in equanimity, and to also to listen in equanimity.
It was challenging because I want immediately to support the other person verbally, and it's a very different skill set to just sit and try to hold the space and let them have the experience that they need to have. And it was trusting a different part of me than I've had much practice using in the past few years. So it was very valuable. I think it was more valuable to me to listen, actually, for the reasons that I just said. It was, yeah, very valuable. So thank you.
Thank you. Tracy, do you have something would you like to share something? You know, how it was for you to listen?
I think I'll start with the listening first, how it felt to listen. I felt connected with Maggie, and I felt compassionate. I did feel my brain trying to process what you were saying and find meaning in it. Looking, for patterns or hooks to hang things on, just like, organization or something. I could also feel myself having a little bit kind of an expanded perception view, because I kept thinking like, wow, like she's doing coaching training and like this is coming up, like this experience could make her an amazing coach or something. Like I kept trying to see like, oh, what's the purpose behind it? I also felt a sense of trust listening, because I felt a sense of trust in your own abilities, your own strengths, your own calmness and like aptitude, like, to process this, and that I also felt a sense of trust in whatever guiding force that's working with you. So that was kind of cool. And I felt also a sense of peace and relief that I didn't have to rush in and solve everybody's problems, because then I would feel, inadequate. So I think I was able to connect with Maggie more because I wasn't feeling insecure and inadequate, because I had already had permission to not be responsible for the world, whatever is experiencing. And then also by having a sense of trusting that, you know, Maggie's in the right time in the right place, and this is happening for a purpose and a reason, and that so it gave me a sense of peace and the ability, like it felt good to be able to connect and to feel supportive even without having to say something. So I mean, I guess I felt honored, like, did I get to hold that space? It was, like, cool to, like, witness another human being, like, being alive and really, like, being in on your secrets. It was an honor. It felt kind of intimate. It was nice. Um, I think on sharing is when I got a little bit more self-conscious, because, like, and then I have a little bit more of dog and pony, like, now I have to do something right. In the processing, of it. I don't know that I understood exactly my role in talking about it. How did I feel? A little bit like I needed to watch my P's and Q's, that I not as free maybe. Um, but maybe like maybe like seeing the need for radical acceptance, that there's not always a solution to something, like because everybody has a different idea of what their solution is. So I guess, yeah, there are all these different points of view. So if you try to take this one or that one or whatever, then some other point of view is getting left out. So maybe the sense of like ultimately all like I felt like I had integrity and that I delivered something, and I think they knew it too. And then like sometimes maybe each person is learning their own lesson, and so maybe they were there to be my muse for something that somebody's guiding me to look at. And then at the same time, maybe I was put in this position, like I'm like, okay, I'm willing to feel uncomfortable if this helps them. I don't know the ultimate goal of it.
Mhm. Well, I really appreciate your vulnerability and your honesty.
Thanks.
I feel you are exactly where you are supposed to be, and you are exactly, working this equanimity. It's beautiful, both of you. Both of you in your own ways, beautiful.
It's a long day.
It is, and it's not finished yet. It's not over.
Yeah, but I'm excited about that too.
We still have to get back all together and close and share.
Yeah.
So it's in here in California it's 4:53, and so I don't know if you have something to add before we go back to the main room and get a 5-minute pause to do whatever we need to do in between. Just want to make sure that
Yeah.
yeah.
I just feel super grateful and super supported and not judged. And I'm really happy that I'm here. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Wow.
Tracy, it was an honor to be in this space with you. That you said that word, and I felt that just so deeply inside. I am honored. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Isabel, thank you for holding space for both of us. This was beautiful.
Are so welcome. It is definitely an honor and a pleasure for me to be here with you guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome back. I can't wait to hear about how the equanimity practice went for you, the sharing. Was it difficult? Was it easy? Was it enlightening? And so let's start by just sharing about that before we do a closing ceremony, and then I'll take questions as well. So any shares about the equanimity practice? You got to scroll all the way down to the chat roll. Wow, I think watching movie clips or music videos would be fun. I didn't quite understand that. One, biggest aha for the whole retreat is just listening and not coaching. It was very difficult to talk about it for 5 minutes. Yes, I know. I've done this practice. It was beautiful and my partner was so wonderful, enlightening, hard to stay in our silence. Yeah, that teaches us a lot. I love this process of sharing time without coaching. I love the equanimity of giving time and of receiving time. What a beautiful way to say it, Nicole. Really lovely. I recognize how my subtle resistance of my friend I'm irritated with is perpetuating my irritation. Yeah, so hard not to say anything. Don't make us do it for a whole day. I think trying to come from a place of calm while talking about an irritant helps you learn the lesson. My partner was awesome. It was so nice, but it was so hard to not engage. So one thing I want you to notice is how you were engaging with each other. What was the connection that was there? How was your equanimity and your presence actually assisting each other? Because my guess is you were completely engaged and you were helpful. So would you say that's true, that as the one speaking and sharing, you felt listened to, you felt supported in your equanimity, in your ability to talk about something that's difficult with equanimity? Yeah. Yes, breathing with their pace, eye contact. My friend and I had the same experience. Being an active listener, I was able to communicate empathy. It builds our listening skills, absolutely. And you know, whatever your profession is, this is something that is really helpful, not just for those who are in helping professions, because all of us have people in our life that we want to listen to more deeply. And if we don't have those people, we want to bring them into our life. So this listening with equanimity is something that can be used for everyone, not just helping professionals. So the key words for today's retreat I would like to share are rich, powerful, inspiring, enjoyable, awakening. Thank you, Magali, and the group. I fully enjoyed it. What a beautiful combination of technique, practices, interactions, and breaks that made all of it so easy flowing. I'm so glad, and I'm really proud of all of us. I'm really proud of us that we went through 7 experiences, 7 integrations, and we kept on schedule. I was not expecting that. So really, congrats to everyone and for being here. So as a little integration, it'll just take about 5 minutes, and then I'll be here for questions as well. I want to invite you to just recall the day. How did you feel entering a virtual retreat? Any expectations you had, any nervousness? Just recall that in yourself right now, then we'll share. But right now, go inward and recall how you felt when you started the day. And then remember that first session of balance. We did alternate nostril breathing, we did energy orbits, we focused on allowing and accepting, and on balance in our life, what balance means to us mentally, physically, in our relationships, what is balance? Then the next session was about receiving. And we welcomed in an emotion to enhance a mood. We learned how to amplify our emotion through bringing in memories. We shared with each other. And then we practiced awareness through 21 Journeys practice. We did 12 3-minute glimpse awareness practices using our body, sometimes using our voice, maybe even our imagination. For some of us, real reach, real stretch. For some of us, a dropping in, a journey. Notice anything that comes to you now from the morning. Invite any memories. Maybe they were during sharing time, the people you connected with. Maybe it was during one of the exercises or experiences. Just let it be highlighted in your awareness right now. A memory that you'll take with you and maybe continue to grow and learn from. And then hopefully you had a nice lunch break. And after lunch, we focused on connection, the different aspects of love, inviting that love archetype into our experience, exploring receiving, and in the sharing practice, how did that go? There were questions that you answered as well as you really empowered love in whatever form, in many forms in your life. Just notice if there's any highlight from the connection practice. Some of the practice was to stack into the heart, to wish well for others. I believe that was in the connection practice. And then we did the project, which was very enlivening. We brought in excitement. We brought in boundary protectors. We really worked on what is the groundwork for a project in ourselves, in our state, in our yeses and our nos and our boundaries and our acceptance and the way we work with resistance. So remember that project, and all you did around the project, and energizing the project with memories, with emotions, with a fierce protection, and also a worthiness, a deep worthiness of that project. And then we had soul talks. We got to really engage in our ability to speak our truth, to hear others' truth, to build these resources together around one of those soul talk topics, or 3 that you chose, and think of your partners in that work and the way people came forward, the way they showed up for each other, the way you showed up for yourself, and you allowed intuition and flow. And then the last session we just did on equanimity, remembering the exercise with the positions, friend, enemy, stranger, with the trigger experience you remembered and then took yourself forward in time, all the way to your deathbed, and then back in time. And then speaking from that place of equanimity and listening from that place of equanimity. And now that you've kind of recapped, just letting all of that build, like seven beautiful helpers around you, all these 7 helpers: balance, receiving, awareness, connection, energizing a project, soul talks, equanimity. They're all helpers just circling you right now. Imagine them circling you and giving to you, and you receiving and thanking those topics, and how they work in your life, how balance takes care of you, how love, how boundaries, how excitement, how speaking your truth, how all of this serves you. And now, opening your eyes, I want to invite you to go into gallery view so you can see everybody. And those, hopefully a lot of you are in video. And let's just spend a few minutes looking at each other and wishing each other well. Like really from your deepest heart, wish each other well. Wish each other specific kinds of wellness: creativity, passion, love, excitement, focus, nurturing, whatever it is. Look at each other and wish each other well, and know that you're having those same wishes sent to you. So as you give, you receive. So, and you can, there's a little arrow, you can go to the next page. Wish each other kindness, generosity, enthusiasm, drive, whatever comes to you. Let a new word come for each person you look at. And wish everyone well. Wish everyone on the page, even if it's just a name, wish that name well. Wish it joy. Wish it love. Wish it growth. Wish everyone in our group. And just let's take a moment now to imagine we're all in a circle. We're in a beautiful place. Whatever you think of as the most beautiful place, bring this group there with you. And imagine we create this big circle, and our hands are touching as we send energy to each other. And right now, feel the energy of the group just flowing into you, through you, out to the next person in the place of your choosing. Some of us might choose an island, some a mountain, some a prairie, wherever it is, a desert. It may be night, it may be morning, but all of our imaginations come together to create this sacred circle. And in the middle of the circle, place your projects, your resistance, your resources. Let us all hold all of those projects, all of those resources, all of those resistances, all of our lives. together in this circle, and expand your hands out. Imagine right now that your hands are connecting with your friends on each side, and you can see the entire circle and all that it holds. Remembering our promises of truthfulness, confidentiality, kindness, equanimity, and just holding that space for each other. And then coming to your own heart, to your own center, take a moment to receive and to wish for yourself. And set an intention for yourself. What is it that you would like for yourself? Just give that to yourself right now, that intention. And if any practice comes to you that you would like to commit to, any exploration you want to take further, honor that. Allow it to speak to you. And when you're ready, just take a really deep breath in, honoring yourself with your breath. We'll do 3 deep breaths. And as you breathe in, gather the energy in, keep the energy, let the air out. And remembering that beautiful tree, imagining for a moment that you're leaning against that tree, being supported, being grounded. And you can feel the safety, the expansion, the centeredness of the tree. And you will allow it to help you ground and connect. And to be really embodied and true. And in that truth, give yourself that voice and that power to connect and to share and to be vulnerable. Okay, thank you guys. That was really, what a day. Beautiful retreat with you all. And I'm open to talking, to sharing. If people want to write, raise their hand, I'm here. And we're all here for each other. It's lovely to share our highlights, our experiences, our gratitude to each other. Yeah. Yeah, what an honor to spend the day with you guys. Absolutely, I love that share. And we did it all virtually. We connected and we created this space and this circle and this trust together. Good night in Australia. Treat for me too, Patricia. All right. Like summer camp. I love that. I love that comparison. Okay. Yeah, wonderful day. Wonderful to see how much one can explore and expand into in just one day, in just 8 hours. It is hard to say goodbye. Many of us are connected through our training, and everyone who has attended will get a video of this. So, I'm just going to check if anyone has raised a hand. Don't see any hands. Maybe you've had enough talking for the day, huh? Enough processing. I'm going to send you guys, some kind of survey so I get feedback from you, what your favorite experiences were. I really want to know your truth about it. So I will be sending those surveys, and of course, I'd love you to share about your experience so I can share that with other people who are going to do the virtual retreat. So please send to support@strategicintervention.com your experiences from today, maybe journal discoveries you do in the days that follow. There are journal questions that you might want to answer for the different 7 sessions. And we would love just to know about your experience, what was easy, what was difficult and wonderful, what was easy and not that great. You know, we really want to know it all so that we can keep growing in this space of virtual retreat. Okay. You're talked out, huh? It's been a long day, I understand. Well, just, I have so much gratitude for you guys. Special thanks to Jeremy, Isabel, Mark. You guys made this happen. You supported everyone. So just huge gratitude to you and to everyone here. You know, we all created this together. So thank you and have a wonderful rest of your evening or day. And I hope that this keeps evolving for you in dream time, journaling, in your life, with friends, with family. And don't be a stranger, write in and share more, okay? Take care.